Hey guys, today we're talking about Saltburn, a movie that has been available on Amazon Prime Video since December the 22nd. And since I won't have Amazon Prime Video anymore because I have to cancel it for personal reasons, but whatever, I decided to watch this movie because, I mean, there's a lot of awards buzz around it. Basically, this movie is about the Barry Keoghan's, I think you say Barry Keoghan or Barry Keoghan, I have no idea how to say his name. The only thing I know is that that man is both gorgeous and incredibly talented. The movie is about a character that he plays that he studies in Oxford, if I'm not mistaken. And in Oxford, he takes his liking to another, student there that is played by Jacob Elordi. Who, I mean, and I have to say, this is the first time I see him acting. So, because I know who Jacob Elordi is, but mainly because women are just insane about him, and many men too. But I mean, I hadn't seen him in anything. I don't watch Euphoria or anything. Or I think he's in Euphoria. I have no fucking idea, but whatever. This movie is about this obsession that this guy has on this other guy. And Jacob Elordi's character decides to invite Barry Keoghan's character into his house for the summer, and of course he already knew, but now he really knows that Jacob Elordi's family is fucking wealthy. They live in a castle basically, and they have everything. And there's this clash between working class Barry Keoghan and Jacob Elordi is, I mean, he's fucking rich, like rich, English rich, might I add. And this movie is about, I mean, you think it's about an obsession, but I don't think it's about that. I mean, and this is entering into spoiler territory, to be honest. But before I enter spoiler territory, I want to say that the best part of this movie, of course, are the performances. Barry Keoghan's performance, or Keoghan performance, he's amazing. He is just insanely good. His Oliver is just a fantastic creation that has so many layers. And there's a scene at the very end of the movie that not only, I mean, if you're into men, you're going to love it, but if you're into good acting, you're going to love it too, because that scene is just like, oh, he just put the cherry on top. He just put a bow on the present. He did a fantastic performance all along, and it's in that end that you're like, oh, it's an amazing performance. It's fantastic, I have to say. I mean, and he's a young actor. He has a life of acting in front of him. He has already been nominated for an Academy Award last year for Banshees of Inisherin, in which he was very good. And I hope a lot of nominations come his way in different awards things, because he's just very talented. He's incredibly talented. He takes everything into his own hands, and he's not afraid of anything. And I think that's admirable in an actor, because sometimes they're like they play these characters that are always the same thing, to be honest, and they're great in that. But there are some actors that really go there, that really go the extra mile, the extra miles actually, and are just amazing. The other great performance in this movie is Rosamund Pike's performance, which is very supporting, but she's hilarious in her role. She's just so funny, and you haven't seen her being this funny, I think. Maybe in that series she did for Netflix, whose name I don't remember right now, but that wasn't intentionally funny. That was just funny because she was insane in that. But in this one, she's kind of insane too, but in another way. And she really illustrates what it is like to be an English aristocrat, and it's very that. It's very her in this movie, and she does an amazing job. I also liked Carey Mulligan, which appears in like a handful of scenes, but she's a powerful presence. And of course, I have to say the screenplay by Emerald Fennell, who was actually nominated for a Promising Young Woman, which was her first movie, and she won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. So she really has a great track record. She was nominated for Best Director, and one of the few women to have been. and I think she's just amazing, especially the writing because it's so simple but so effective at the same time. I really admire Emerald Fennell, and she's an amazing actress too. She was in Barbie in a very small role, but she's amazing. She's really, really a talented woman, and I think again she also has a lifetime in front of her of amazing screenplays and directing, and I hope she keeps giving that to us. This movie has a lot of parallels, I think, to Promising Young Woman, but there's a fine difference there that at the beginning of Promising Young Woman, you think you're watching a villain all along, and at the end, you realize that she's the hero of the story. In this movie, that's not exactly, that's I think inverted, that you think is a hero but it's actually a villain. And here's when we enter the spoiler territory, because this movie is crazy, it's insane, and I have to say that the revelation at the end that Barry Keoghan is just a fucking insane person. I mean, you know he's insane all along, but you didn't know at what level of insanity he was operating on. I wasn't that surprised, to be honest. I think she failed to really hide some of the details of his story. I mean, from the beginning, I knew that the story of his parents being drug addicts was a bunch of bullshit. I mean, even if you are super smart, which is never proven in the movie, you don't get an Oxford scholarship. I mean, that doesn't make. And if you come from that background, I'm sorry, but those universities, I mean, yes, they do give like prizes to people that are fucked because they want to be like, oh, look at us, we are very nice people. But it's not like that. And I mean, his story was very flawed from the beginning. And then I have to say that the way she illustrates this aristocratic family, although it's very funny, it's not really that believable because if something, if rich people are something, is not trustworthy. They don't trust anyone because they have worked maybe a lot to get that money, or maybe they just want to keep everything in the family. They don't really want to expand that a lot and that's why people rich people really take care of who they marry, who their children marry, because you cannot really expand too much outward because that's going to be dangerous at some point and that's not really illustrated here in this movie. The aristocratic family is just too innocent, too dumb, to be honest. They're a bunch of idiots, and they realized what's happening at the end of the movie, and not even, and that's so idiotic. And there's also this character that's an annoying fucking character. I mean, I'm sorry to that actor, but he's always being like a pain in the ass to Ollie, to Barry Keoghan's character. And you just get tired of it. I mean, a person that is that annoying at some point has to be taken down or has to triumph in some way. And he's not really taken down in a proper way, so it's kind of a disappointment with that character because he has been annoying all along, and even when he exits the movie at the end, it's not really satisfying, and it should be satisfying because he was always a person that was like obstructing all his advance in this thing. I have to say, although I have issues with the screenplay, I do admire it. And the other thing I wanted to say is that the art direction is, for a contemporary movie. I mean, this movie is set in the early 2000s, but I would say it's a contemporary movie. Actually, that I think that's the definition of contemporary. That it's not that old, basically. And I think they do a fantastic job with the art direction, production design in general, the costume design. I think it's very well done, and it's not really seen. Movies that are dated like 10, 15 years ago. It's either the present or 30, 50 years ago. So I think it's very well done in that regard. I mean, especially the costume design, for example, for Carey Mulligan, or for the guys that go to the university, or the setting of the castle from the family of the movie. Saltburn is the name of the castle, actually, the property. And I think that's really well done. And actually, I have to say that the racy scenes that some people might have issues with, and the final scene, which is Barry Keoghan naked dancing around the house, to Murder on the Dance Floor by Sophie Elix Bextor. That's an amazing, amazing thing to watch. Just for that, you should watch it. So this is my review for Saltburn. I really recommend watching this movie. It's not for everyone. If you didn't if you had issues with a promising young woman, maybe this is not the movie for you. And Emerald Fennell keeps doing these movies in which characters are really daring you to be on their side by being awful people, and it's very interesting. It's very wild, and she has a very modern take, which I really appreciate. But this movie is insane. I think this movie might be again nominated. Probably Rosamund Pike would be nominated for an Academy Award. She would deserve it, and she's a fantastic actress. And I would adore if Barry Keoghan was nominated for his performance here, because he's fucking insane in this movie, and he goes all in, and he's fantastic, and he's a very beautiful human being. So I would love that for him. And maybe Emerald Fennell's screenplay, maybe. But that's all from me, and thank you so much for watching this video. And yeah, Amazon Prime Video, you can watch it since December the 22nd. And yeah, I will do another one of these reviews very soon. Thank you so much. Goodbye.